මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑ මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගේ බොඩැන්නවාන්.
Good evening and welcome back to Ooredoo Nation Gamersland E-Sports Contender Series Season 3. This is a PUBG Mobile once again. This is going to be day 2 of the qualifiers. And so we had Group A just yesterday and now we're going to have Group B. And if you guys follow our socials, especially on Instagram, you will see the list of which teams are going to be participating for tonight. And of course there will be another set of teams tomorrow as well, and it's going to be really really exciting. Yesterday we already know who's going to be qualifying, and as usual we saw that the format is basically top 3 teams will be moving on to the grand finals immediately, and then top 4 to top 9 will be going on to the semifinals before they can go ahead to the finals. But nonetheless, we have our very new day. We have our Group B as well today. So, well, we'll just have a lot of fun as of this moment, and I'm really hoping that we're gonna see maybe a little bit more aggression because yesterday Group A not too aggressive but not too passive either, so it's sort of a balance. And I was really happy with how some of the teams performed yesterday, especially for Skyforce. They did really well. Around the third map they already garnered about maybe 60 points already, so they were good to go. They didn't have to work too hard to get more points at map 4 and map 5. Set on top 1. But here are today's matches. It's pretty much the same map schedule as yesterday. We got Rondo starting off with match number 1, and then we have match number 2 Erangel, match 3 Miramar, and then repeat with match 4 Erangel and Miramar once again to end the day. This is going to be the day 2 of the qualifiers. This is going to be Group B. We got new faces, we got new names, possibly new players, and familiar names of some familiar teams from the previous tournaments. Who knows? Maybe they'll be changing up their lineup. Maybe we'll be seeing our very much favorite players from their teams. But yeah, nonetheless, we're also excited, and I am also excited because I think I saw the lineup and I saw a few familiar names, some big names, some names that we see time and time again on the tournaments and also on the big screens. And so now the question lies in which of these teams will be going on to the top 3 on this group stage, because they will be going straight to the grand finals. For top 4 to top 9, of course, we'll be seeing the playoffs. They'll work a little bit harder in order to qualify. But nonetheless, we will be starting off with 17 teams, and we have 67 players remaining. Or rather, not remaining. We will have 67 players in this group stage. So there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is map number 1 of the Esports Contender Series Season 3, and we'll be starting off with Rondo for our Group B qualifiers. And it looks like the flight path will be starting off from towards the southwestern part of the map in Lanpo to be exact, and it'll be ending up all the way up to Muhopan on the northeastern part of the map. There's only one flight path for this particular map. Sometimes Rondo has 2, but this time, I guess the game thinks that one flight path is enough, and so we're not going to be too worried about that. There we have it. We have the drop-offs coming. What was that? But yes, we have drop-offs coming in from our different teams. I don't know what Ayu's doing here. He's just standing. Must be the lag. I hope this guy goes and buys Ooredoo instead, because you cannot have a slow internet on a tournament like this, especially since you're trying to qualify. Come on, guys, get some Ooredoo 5G if you can. it's the much better internet provider that you can have. But yes, in the beautiful spirit of Rondo, you can see this cluster, this beautiful clustering of players happening here in this beautiful area. I don't even know how many teams are here. I can count. There's just so many colors that I'm seeing right now. And this is what I was expecting, actually. This is what I was expecting, but did not see on the Group A stage. We did not see players landing on either Neox Factory or another hotspot, and then they just go at each other. Look at this. Matsu from Opex going up against Leon's Eddie. These are two teams that are like I don't know if you can say veteran, but we see them quite a lot on the tournaments in the Maldives esports scene, and I'm really happy to see Opex, especially since they've been popping off like recently, and we've seen them chopping off, going on to the top of the ranks, and now I'm really excited. I have high hopes for Opex, OPZ, and also Leons, of course. These are some really old names that I've been seeing. I remember there should be DMT as well, but as of this moment, they do have still one elimination, but they are on their way. If they're here in this cluster of teams, if they're here in this area with all the teams just clustered here, for sure they will have a lot of aggression. They will be going on to basically the bloodbath on the first few minutes of Rondo, and we can have Matu cooking up a grenade, and it looks like Sunny Whom is actually going to be backing away real quick. That was a really good dodge because a lot of the damage has been avoided from that one action. But yeah, nonetheless, it's it got simmered down. You know, the kill feed got a little bit quieter. A while ago it was like kill after knockdown after kill, but right now it's kind of just everyone is playing it safe. Perhaps some of them are trying to recall as of this moment, but the good thing is I can see from the leaderboards and also from the statistics there's still 17 teams. And so we can assume a lot of the teams, especially if you can see some of the teams, they only have one player left. They did the 3-1 split. So three players went haywire into the hotspots of Rondo. They dropped in and they gave it all they got. They put a lot of bullets into the other teams. And then as of that moment, as of this game, unfortunately, they will be losing out on eliminations. They'll be giving out eliminations instead. And so they have a second chance. The good thing is they tried and they had some aggression in, and perhaps maybe they also had a few eliminations for themselves. And since they have one player stand by on one of the recall towers, that's the important part. They'll have a second chance to go ahead and get the aggression in, and they can come in and shoot at each other again. And it looks like Hunter will be hunted down. They went out the staircase and got gunned down by someone who was camping there, and that's just not something that you want. Especially if you're trying to get a lot of elimination points, and that's not the only goal here. You have to avoid giving points to your team by not dying, basically. Even if you have a second chance, you don't want to give those points to the other team. But yeah, nonetheless, we have some players that went down, but of course, we don't have to worry too much. What we're going to be worrying about in the first few minutes of Rondo is if the whole squad gets wiped out. Any eliminations, any deaths, we don't worry about that too much. We already know the players will have a second chance. The players can just revive themselves, can recall themselves. We don't even have to worry too much. But here, okay, LF Lovins, we got Maito, we got Thakuru, we have Soli, and we have Ela. These are some really old names. These are some veteran names on the Maldives PUBG play. So I'm really excited. I think I have my eyes on Lovins. They are already on the top two on the list, and that's because oh my goodness, Zakaru especially. I've seen this guy get some really insane eliminations in the past few tournaments, and so I definitely have my eyes peeled on Lovins as of this moment, and of course Leons as well. We don't really see them on the screen, but I think I have to watch out for Leons as well. These guys are like some of the very well known teams in Maldives, especially in the PUBG scene. And of course, DMT, I'm really hoping that they're going to be popping off. Maybe they haven't ran into any other teams yet. Maybe they landed in some not so hot spot on Rondo. And oh, okay, we got Titan from GameOver Yakuza. Spots one play, but couldn't quite confirm that kill. Yeah, it looks like Kyle 4F will be running off. They're trying to heal up as far as the silhouette looks like, and the rest of their team's kind of scattered all around Ryan as of this moment. And Titans going through the buildings, and they spot out. All right, we got some sprays on, but unfortunately not connecting too much. Just grenade cooking. This is gonna be a squad versus a Titan soloing this place. I don't know where this guy's teammates are. Oh my goodness, that grenade from Seri is just insane. And it looks like the blue zone is gonna be coming in, and it looks like Seri will be prioritizing reviving their teammates, and that's really important because as you can see there are only three players on this team. You already have a slight disadvantage in terms of numbers on your team, so that's not something that you want in the qualifiers. But over here, all right, we got LNN Leons, as I said, one of the teams to look out for, and it looks like Eddie already has 4 eliminations, and Ano has 3. We got Collie and Barry in the mix as well, and they're chilling here. They're actually just chilling here. There's no other players in this area, and looks like they're at the edge of the stage 2 circle, so they're kind of just like, not really going on the aggressive, not really making any moves yet. They're probably going to be watching and following perhaps the border of the play zone. And so that's also one really good strategy. So you'll have less problems watching out for your backs. All you have to do is either gatekeep or look forward and hunt down some of the other teams, so you don't have to look behind your back too much. Over here, all right, we have the stage 2 circle closing in to Chao Tin, like a little bit of Chao Tin, maybe like 60% of Chao Tin, and a bit of Yulin, maybe 30% of Yulin, and the mostly open fields and the little outskirts and the little roads connecting the places. And stadium, of course, about 50% of stadium is still within the play zone, and a lot of teams are trying to rotate into the area. There are a couple of teams already settled in. There's some teams that haven't just yet, but the important thing is everyone's alive again. There are 67 players once again, and I'm so proud of everyone as of this moment because they managed to keep themselves alive, but they were so aggressive at the start. It's a wonder that no team got wiped out, but they managed to recall. Everyone managed to recall. There's so many eliminations. Leon's, in fact, with 7 eliminations. Lovins has 4, and etc. If you add that all up, it's probably like comfortably maybe 20 or 30 eliminations from the first maybe 5 minutes out. Generously, maybe 8 minutes. First 8 minutes, there were so many eliminations. But everyone's survivability worked out so well despite the aggression. And this is what I want to see in Rondo, actually. This is something that, once again, in Group A. But over here, Pinchu gets spotted by Leon's Eddie, and we gotta shoot down. And the problem here now is Eddie's all alone at TM7. Are on the hunt. It looks like Eddie's in trouble over here. AJ's just gonna be backing away real quick, knowing that Pinchu is already down. We're just sidestepping just a bit. They have a numbers advantage, but again, they don't have much information. They don't know that Eddie is probably all alone, and so they're kind of just scattering the area, making sure no one's hiding in the corners. But now that they know that Eddie's all alone, and they're gonna be safely looting the place up. This is where the rest of Leon's is. I guess there were 2 players. I only saw 2, so I think there's another split push somewhere out there. But here Arancars have their cars, and I'm gonna presume they're going to be rotating out of the stadium into perhaps this open field over here, or maybe they'll be crossing LHC and going to this little area where there are a bunch of buildings, but it's unnamed from the map. I'm not sure if there's a name already. Rondo's a pretty new map, so I don't know if people named that place already. But nonetheless, yes, I can see a little bit of damage being taken by Arancars. Pacific 23, in fact, taking a bit of damage, and that should be because of a Joker from V9. There's another Joker from LNN Forsaken. All right, this color is LNN Forsaken because their gamer tags are kind of a little bit confusing. But here, ARK Esports is going to be going up against the cars of Enforce, and Enforce manages to cut them down despite trying to maneuver their cars at the same time. That's crazy multitasking. But here, ARK Esports got Ihu rather, looking out to the horizon through their scopes. There should be someone there. They see smoke. They see smoke, and where there's smoke, there's a player. And so, Mazit, some blind shots. They're not going to be finding anyone here, but oh, NONX gets caught up. Who was that? I didn't quite see who got that shot in, but Joker goes on to the ground as well. So that's 1-for-1 trade from LNN Forsaken and the other team as well, the green team. And there should be a third party. It's going to be AK. AK, I can't quite catch which team this is, which full name team this is. Pink team, they're also going to be coming in. There's also LHG nearby. Alright, we got some gun downs from Forsaken. That's a lot of damage in, but they have to worry about the rest of LHC. In fact, Odin rather. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Odin. Odin's cooking up a grenade, but Forsaken manages to dodge that just in time. Mythic is also cooking up grenades. Odin is not stopping whatsoever. Forsaken, you gotta run, dude. You gotta outrun this blue zone. And LHC as well. LHC is waiting this guy out, and Forsaken, this guy is all alone. I don't know where the rest of their team is. As far as I know, it's only Joker that got picked off, so I guess they were on a split push. Joker got picked off, and this guy's all alone now. But here, Arancars still at it. They're at the gas station. There's Stelion nearby. Oh, there's a lot of knockouts happening, but okay, Reggie, they're within the blue zone, taking a bit of damage. This is stage 4, by the way, so that's a considerable amount of damage. But oh, Nanu took a lot of damage back there from TM7. Raiji, that's a knockdown. Nanu could be finished off here by Unknown from Akuma, but looks like it's not happening just yet. They have to worry about the blue zone as well. Grenade coming in. Raiji couldn't quite get that to connect. Okay, that's just where this is. Okay, we got side stepping. It's Reiji who is a little bit slow in this area here, but Akuma manages to get away just in time. Nanu does need to be revived, however. Unknown is healing up. Ash is going to be getting away, trying to go to Nanu. It's a good thing Nanu is within the play zone, so they don't have to worry too much about the damage. But speaking of worrying, Leons is nearby as well. Barry is scoping out the place. There's someone in that compound. Back there, OPZ's finally showing their faces into the camera. They're coming in, guns blazing. They got their cars, and they are here to take some eliminations because, in fact, OPZ, they've been laying low for the whole game, for this whole rondo. So far, they got 0 eliminations, so they have to find something, anything. They've been quiet. They've been gathering resources, but this is rondo. This is not the map to go quietly camping. But if OPC thinks this is gonna work, and if OPC manages to prove me wrong and perhaps get the chicken dinner from this patience game, then maybe I'm wrong after all. But finally, we're seeing our eliminations, our first squad elimination. CM7 and NONX. And NONX, TM7, yes, 2 teams have been wiped out. We're 15 minutes into the game, so we're not going to be thinking about recall towers anymore. And so that's the reason why we're starting to see some eliminations already. Alright, we got a few skirmishes that we can see on our screens. Forsaken versus OPZ. I saw just a while ago. Oh, Forsaken took a bit of damage. Joker's crawling onto the ground. SCL nearby. ARK as well right behind them. And OPZ very quite near. Forsaken actually one really good grenade. These guys, they're gonna be seeing the lobby. But here another team gets eliminated off. It's gonna be 187 Valkyrie and GameOver. I believe this is GameOver Yakuza has been picked off as well. So we're down to 13 teams. OPZ, if they have information, they could throw a grenade and Forsaken's gonna be Forsaken as of this moment, but I guess they don't have the information for this. Look at Joker. Joker took a lot of damage, but they're hanging on to like 5 HP. One player from Forsaken gets gunned down, but they just have to wait out for that health to go down. Oh, that's a double knockdown. What was that grenade throw from OPZ? And Ani's trying to get some bullets exchange with the other team from SCL as well from the distance, while multitasking and trying to take down Forsaken. It looks like Forsaken could still um, revive the rest of their teams, and White does need to be revived as well. So everyone's just pretty much licking their wounds. They're not finishing this up. They're prioritizing their survivability, which is a really, really good idea. You don't want to overstep. You don't want to push too much and neglect your teammates. And here, so Forsaken, they're crawling through the smokes, but that's also pretty much a flare gun as to where the rest of your team is. But as of this moment, there's not much choice. It's an open field sort of last few minutes, so it's either using the triangles or you're gonna be using smokes. And all right, Joker tried to finish off OPC, but I guess this was like a sort of bait sort of thing, because instead the rest of OPZ's lingering about waiting for someone to peek and finish off their playmaker, teammate rather, and they take those eliminations for themselves. OPZ in fact has 3 eliminations, and I'm saying OPZ has been quiet for the whole run of it. Now they're pretty much on the board, maybe just a few eliminations away from the rest of the team. But here we're seeing lots of teams going down one after the other. In fact, you blink and there's only 6 teams left on our Rondo map for our Group B qualifiers. 8x scope, they're gonna be throwing in the grenade. Let's see if it lands on ARK, and that's a lot of damage taken from Ryan. Rather, Ayu from ARK, and that's not gonna be good. But ARK really has to push, but Matt CT, they're out in the open. I don't think they know that Enforce Esports has this really good angle up against them. In fact, I think the angles are just against them as of this moment. This is an open field, and the safest thing to do, I think, is to hog the circle. But as of this moment, it's just a little bit hard. Looks like DMT might be suffering just a bit, but DMT has 10 eliminations already. We got Fisherman, last person standing, and Force Esports 3 versus 1 against DMT. Fisherman, unfortunately, the numbers went out. DMT will be eliminated off, but not without getting 10 eliminations. Leons with 11. So I'm saying Leons, DMT, these are the teams to look out for. They are pretty much the same team that we've been seeing again and again in the Maldives esports scene, and they do not disappoint. They actually do not disappoint. They've seen the big screens, they played against bigger players, and now they are going on to telling the rest of this group stage exactly why they have been such a household name. But here, 3 teams up. It's gonna be Enforce, ARK, and OPZ. So without now, it's a lot of patience. Stage 7 of the game, we're 20 minutes in. Of course, esports is still a full squad, but ARK is hiding out. Ryan is all alone. Question is, does 7352 have the information? Because they're going 1 versus 1, but still 7352 is the one that's gonna be going down. Ryan's trying to get this elimination, and they know that it's over for them. They're just trying to get 1 elimination from this situation. And now, Enforce got OPC, 1 person left, 1 active player left. The question is, can Nani go ahead and give the revive? I think it's still possible. In fact, they revive 1 player, and this is very important because they need to make this into a 3 versus 3. And Force has 3 players, and oh, that's a bit of damage taken by Aku. All right, we got some sprays on. Nani is managing to hide behind this protective barrier. But here, Nani taking a lot of damage, especially from the blue zone. That was not a good place to be, but Ezio is running off, trying to avoid, to dodge this blue zone, and it looks like they'll be going on to a healing game. They don't have a lot of healing items, and Ezio goes down. Enforce Esports, with the numbers advantage, manages to outlive OPZ, getting that winner chicken dinner. Congratulations to Enforce Esports. Congratulations to 7352 Phoenix, Aku, and 8x Scope for getting that winner chicken dinner. And you can see the eliminations. That is an insane amount of eliminations. We got 735-2 and 8x Scope. They each have 4 eliminations. Phoenix has 1, Aku has 2. And so, congratulations. Once again, there is a decent amount of damage, especially for 7352 with 795 damage. And you should probably have a lot more eliminations from that, but unfortunately they perhaps couldn't have finished off the players that they knocked down. But here are the match rankings. Yes, in Force Esports they have 21 total points. Considering the fact this is Rondo, this is not too high. I mean, we've seen higher total points from Erangel and Miramar perhaps, but we'll take it. 21 total points, and the rest of the teams, it's actually spread out where the Rondo points went. A lot of teams got like 12, 11 points, and so that's also a good start, especially since this is our first map for this Group B stage. Everyone's kind of just testing the waters, but here the MVP is no other than 75-2 from Enforce Esports with the 4 eliminations, and once again the 795 damage. There we have it. Our very first winner with the chicken dinner is Enforce Esports. That is our very first map. That is Rondo. And next we will be going on to Erangel as usual. And so Erangel, very different gameplay. It's gonna be less aggressive. It has to be less aggressive than Rondo. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe in this matchup of teams, maybe in this lineup of teams, it's just a naturally aggressive sort of lineup, aggressive players. Who knows? But as of this moment from Rondo, I was really happy with the performance. And so with that, we will be checking as to what the Erangel will look like after a short break. So guys, do not go anywhere. We'll be seeing you soon in a few minutes.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන්
We are back once again. We just witnessed map number 1, and that was Rondo for our Group B qualifier stage. And now we are back to Ooredoo Nation Giversland E-Sports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG. And this is day number 2 of our qualifiers stage. We're going to have 3 qualifier stages, and that's going to be 3 different groups. And right now, as of this moment, just a little bit of a recap. We do have Group B that is playing the qualifiers as of tonight, as of this stream, and we are already done with Rondo. It was very aggressive at the first few minutes, and surprisingly 10 minutes into the game, after all that's left and done, after everything, after the smoke has settled, surprisingly 10 minutes into the game, despite the many eliminations that happened, despite the many knockdowns, there were still 70 teams. Everyone had such great discipline, such great survivability, such a great a risk assessment, and honestly, that was quite impressive. I was shocked. There were 67 players after 10 minutes, despite so many eliminations that happened. It was a bloodbath. It was an absolute bloodbath in the first few minutes, and I'm really excited to see how the Arancars is going to look like after this, because it's definitely a very different game. In a wrangle, you cannot play out like what you did in Rondo. There's no second chances in the classic PUBG games. In a wrangle and Miramar, if you're eliminated, that's it. But it looks like we might be going on to a short break just to clear things up at the back end. So guys, don't go anywhere. Just watch out for the timer. We'll be seeing you soon in some time.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගි ගොඩැන්නවන්.
And finally, we're once again back to Origination Gamers Land Esports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG. Just a little bit of a recap. We are once again still in the Group B qualifier stage, and we're done with Rondo, and now we're going to move on to Iran. Hopefully, things have been smoothed out, and it looks like it is. Unfortunately, we'll be starting off with 66 players already. Only rather. So it looks like just basing off the leaderboards, TM7 and NONX will be joining in with only 3 players. So hopefully we'll see the whole squad, the whole team in the next game. Perhaps, hopefully, this is just a one-time thing, but we will have to start on time because that is pretty. We're gonna be following the organizers for this, and just so that everyone will have their time respected. But yeah, nonetheless, we'll be starting off. There's some teams that I can see from the mini screen that's or rather the mini map, that there's some teams that are dropping off already, and just from the angle of the flight path, it looks like we'll be going from the northeastern part of the map going southwest. You can even see the military base from our western perspective. But yes, nonetheless, everyone is going to be going ahead and jumping off to their favorite part of the map. And as you can see, the leaderboards, it looks like enforcers, yes, they'll be smack in the middle. And rather not smack in the middle, they're going to be smack at the ranked number 1 team after one map, of course. So there's still a lot of things that could change, especially since we have 4 more maps left to go. What a nice parachute. I want this skin. You know what? I like this. But yeah, everyone's dropping in, and you can see, all right, in the mansion, there are 2 different teams that landed in the same place, especially Forsaken. One of their players is surrounded by I can't quite catch which team this is. OG. It says OG on their name tags. So I think this is JNSOG, just from the looks of the logo itself. That is it. We're gonna be watching out for Forsaken and JNSOG. It looks like one player actually got downed already. That's gonna be Lala, and Luffy finds Joker from Forsaken as well. So that's actually our first blood. I don't know if it's our first blood actually, because there's 64 players, so there should be 2 eliminations already, and so there's still a lot of damage being done. Nagato has a bow and arrow. This is the beauty of early game engagements. We have teams that haven't quite looted the place up yet, so they're just literally not completely literally giving it all they got. Whatever they pick up, whatever was within 10 meters of where they landed, if they have an early game engagement, they have to work with what they got. It's a good thing Law over here has some. I can see they have 2 guns. It's the same model, however. Not sure about the ammo. It looks like we got a couple of ammo. We got 19 bandages, and so they have to be really, really careful. They already expended whatever grenades they found on the ground at that moment in time. But here, JNS OG still going up against the Forsaken, and Forsaken took a lot of losses here. In fact, they had 1 elimination, and that's gonna be Joker, eliminated already from their lineup, and I'm gonna presume they're trying to heal up, and they've already lost a lot of their resources. And you can see OG, they have a little bit more leeway because they have a lot more freedom. They are not confined to the 2nd and 3rd floor. But here, Forsaken, yes, they took a bit of damage, but Law forefront, trying to get some upfront damage up against Forsaken, but it looks like it's a 1-for-1 knockout trade. One player from Forsaken. Oh, that's a peeking, and Lala's gonna be going right up the staircase, trying to heal up their player, but Luffy Nagato's still up and alive, and JNS OG, they can still heal up, they can still revive some of their players. In fact, Law is getting revived as of this moment, and I don't know if Luffy can access Shaichi from that place, but here, Nagato, we're back at it again, and we're gonna be back to pretty much just going out up against Forsaken, but both teams are going really, really carefully because this is still the early game. You don't want to get picked off so early on. We got Nakato with their bow and arrow once again. They do have a gun in hand, but they don't have a lot of information and they don't have a lot of ammo either. So there's a lot of conserving that needs to be done, especially in this situation. But here, Forsaken, I'm not liking this situation that Forsaken has found themselves in. They are down to two players. J and SOG is still a full squad after all the revives, and Forsaken, they have been confined right now to the third floor of this particular building. OG is getting a lot of this control over this building, and they're just putting a lot of pressure. It looks like they're gonna be storming in with their numbers advantage. They know they have the numbers, but look at that, the numbers turned against them. It's gonna be 2 versus 2, but nonetheless, still they manage to win out with only just two knockouts on their side. They can still heal up, and just judging from the mini map, there's no one else nearby, and so they can happily take this full squad wipeout for themselves. Unfortunately, Forsaken will not be seen for the rest of this Erangel map. So yep, we got 16 teams left. We got 61 players left remaining, and I presume there were a few eliminations that happened since then. I think ENF, they're down by one player, and NONX and TM7 once again they did lose. And not rather lose, they didn't come in with a full squad on in the lobby, so that's actually one thing that we should be remembering. They have a slight disadvantage in terms of numbers already, but going back to the point I said a while ago where in Rondo, yes, the teams are very, very aggressive right now. Erangel, they definitely switched it up. They know that they cannot employ the same strategy that they did in Rondo, where they go completely aggressive. They all land in the same area. They go complete battle royale, like literal battle royale in there, going up against each other, and then just keeping one player alive. But here they can't do that, and so we're going completely classic. We're going landing on some area of the map, their favorite drop off points, and then they're gonna go loot the place up, and then it's pretty much it. Wait out for the stages to close in. But here, alright, we got another engagement that's happening. LF Lovins, they spot a goal from a distance. I think this is game over goal theory. And we're just, of course, race. There's already one down. There's two knocked out on their side. And looks like game over. Might be saying game over to two of their players are down to half of their teams as of this moment. LF Lovins, they're trying to rotate in, and they have quite the resources. I think with 3 health kits and also 2 bandages, they can go ahead and go really, really aggressive, and that's exactly what's happening. Man 5 Red is gonna be wiped out as well. So there should be one last player from Game Over. I can't see them on this mini map, so I guess they're in some other place. And so Lovins are going to be rotating out of the place. But here, Game Over Yakuza, looks like KMKZ ran into another team while trying to get away from Lovins, and it looks like Arancars will be taking that elimination for themselves. It's just a little bit unfortunate that they ran into Arancars in this situation, but nonetheless, it's what happened. That is the second. If they stay in this place, take all that damage, use up their healing kits, it's just not something that will have a nice return of investment. So they'll have to keep moving and then maybe find a really good place to camp out within the circle, and that's exactly what Arancars doing. OPZ Esports, let's see what they're up to. There's smokes coming about, but from my perspective in the minimap, I can't see anyone. So they should be hiding out from some long-ranged opponents that we can't quite see from the area. But yes, they are 1.2 kilometers away, and I'm sure they'll be rotating out of the areas. You can see X10 already has the cars in hand, and Nane's already been lost on their lineup. So I didn't quite catch what happened. I think it was off off camera while maybe it was game over in 4 seconds, time to shine. So with that, everyone's just getting in their cars, chilling out, and they're gonna be settling into some area. I'm not quite sure where the circle is gonna end up, but judging from the fact that it's around towards the towards east of Katka, maybe towards the east coast. I'm not quite sure. Maybe around Mansion is still safe. Maybe Milta. I'm not sure if it's gonna go low or high, north or south. But nonetheless, yes, everyone's just gonna be rotating, and we're still 10 minutes in the game. Maybe we're halfway, a little bit less halfway into our Erangel map, and I like the pace so far. We've seen two squad wipeouts. GNSOG, really nice execution on their part on the squad wipeout. But over here, it looks like Solido finds a Leons, and so this is gonna be another engagement that we'll be seeing. Pacific's gonna be going on to the ground. They spot Barry's car, and they're gonna be trying to get some sprays on. All right, not much connections just yet. Pacific gonna be rotating out of the area because it looks like Leons has backup as well. Art. As well going up against each other. It looks like a B67 is gonna be eliminated in this situation, and not looking good for our as of this moment. From that last skirmish, we're at the boatyard as of this moment, and they're all alone. I mean, they're kind of like at the edge of the circle. They're settling in, and that's like again one of the strategies that we've seen time and time again. Just hug the circle, just hug the edge of the circle, so you don't have to worry too much about watching your back. But here, Lovins, yes, the three eliminations already nicely done from these guys, and you can see just from the leaderboards, there's some pickoffs that happen within the teams, within the lineups of the other teams. So a little bit worrisome, but this is a Wrangles. It happens. But here, alright, LHC's Mythic finds OG, Law, and Luffy goes down into the ground. Looks like Law actually finished off. Psyche might be in trouble by Elon. Lovins is gonna go get some bombardments on this guy, but the rest of ARK is also right behind them, fighting back. Liquid Dew, took a lot of damage back there. That's two knockdowns on the side of Arancars. And Southern Pacific, they're still up and running. Lovins is also nearby. Pacific getting targeted by Elon, but none of those bullets connected. Maybe just one or two chip damage that happened back there, but it's not gonna be enough. Lovin Maito finds a Psych and explodes their car, and I don't know how that ended up. I can only see Pacific as of this moment. This is not looking good. This is definitely not looking good, especially if Lovitz is on a fire. There's still a full squad. Meanwhile, ARK's losing players left and right. In fact, Liquid Unit solid, and they're not gonna be helpful right now because they're on the ground, and Pacific finally gets gunned down by Baito, and that is an elimination. 7 eliminations, in fact, on the side on LF Lovins. They're solidifying their place at number 2 as of this moment. They had 12 points from Rondo. They have 7 eliminations. Just eliminations from this game, and we're only 14 minutes into this game. LF Lovins, they're on fire. They are one of the teams that are proving themselves time and time again. And so I mean, I'm really excited to keep on watching Lovins. But here, speaking of exciting, CM7 third party coming in, and it looks like Lovins, they lost 2 players. Soccer, in fact, will be knocked down as well. They're just trying to heal up. They got taken by surprise. And in fact, I was like, wait, CM7's over here with LF Lovins, and oh, Elon's gonna go down. What was such a good start of the map for Lovins. They were going so well, but unfortunately they got third party while they're still trying to heal up. TM7 swoops in with all 3 of their players. By the way, they have a slight numbers disadvantage, and still that's absolutely crazy. Lovins got wiped out, but yes, because we saw Enforce. One player actually got taken by the blue zone. I think that was the player with the numbers on their name, 7358 or 52. And then after that, one good grenade, and Enforcer got wiped out. So this is our top 2 teams. They lost their place in this map. 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes into the game. In fact, we still have 12 teams. So this is a really good chance for the rest of the teams to catch up in terms of points, especially with Enforce Esports. They are like 9 points in gap from rank number 2 in the previous map and the previous final points from the previous map. So this is a good time to catch up in terms of points. But here, Leon's another team to watch out for. We can see there's another team nearby. We can see the pink team. That's actually going to be AK. That's going to be nearby. But alright, we got stage 3 circle. It was a stage 3, stage 4 circle. And it's going to be favoring Yasnaya Poliana. Like a little bit of the western part. Like Yasnaya Poliana. We got AK still in the game. Leons. They're quite in the middle of this place. And we got NONX as well. We got OPX just nearby. They could rotate anytime soon, but if they choose to stay on the other side of this, what you call this, water formation, there is a term for that. It's not just like it's not just a river. There's a term for that. But yeah, if they stay behind, then they could be eaten up by that circle later on once that is stage moves and that stage 4 circle moves. So you know what? It's gonna be what Opex decides to do after this, but they are gonna be going up against OPZ is OPX versus OPZ as of this moment. OPX, they do have 2 eliminations on their side already, but nonetheless, we'll be watching out for what's gonna be happening next, because Ezio was also targeted by LNN Leons Kali, and Ezio is like way too low in health. I don't think they knew that Eddie had that angle in them. They were trying to hide in the car. They knew that there was someone in their front, but they got flanked by Leons as well. But nonetheless, yes, we do still have 12 teams. We're 18 minutes into the game. Yes, Naya Poliana is going to be a bloodbath, especially this western part of the map. OPX is still nearby. We got OPZ, I presume, still within the game. They do have 2 players left, and so it might be a little bit hard to maneuver the map with such little players, but still they will make 2. This is what Erangle's all about. There's no second chance. There are revives, but that's it. There are no recall towers, and you have to be very careful with the 1 life that you have. You have to take care of your teammates as well. You have to watch out for each other. You gotta communicate, and that's what's really important as of this moment. Here, Leons, they're near the water form, and they have OPX nearby. We have SCL going up against CMT, silently, not so silently, going into the smokes. They know there's someone here, and they're trying to hunt them down, but the visibility is clearly not very good. Silent took a lot of damage back there, and it's not going to be a good look, because if it's a third party, AA is going to close it in. And speaking of closing in, stage 5 circle is going to be going out of this area. They're at the edge, and they need to wrap this up if they don't want to get taken by the like this one player from Maldives. Here, Bunny is quite silent. Finally puts them into the ground. Bunny is going to be finding themselves next. ARK who as well gets picked off. Hunter from another part of the map. Fisherman is gonna be going onto the ground. I think we could still have some revives happening. Oh, there's only Fisherman that's left. It's always Fisherman that's left. And Leon's sniffing out the blood in the water. There's fishermen out there. They need to finish this off. I don't know if we can still see a revive happening, especially since there's so many vultures just circling the area. It might be risky, but it's also possible, especially if the other teams are distracted with each other, and that's a very much possible, especially with a stage 5 circle and 30 players left remaining. There's definitely the possibility that it's going to be happening. But Hunter, they have this angle up against TMT. I don't think there's a lot of visibility, but it looks like Opex, they'll be closing in on another angle. You can see they're trying to flank DMT as of this moment. And it looks like Fisherman actually manages to revive one player. One player immediately got knocked down immediately. OPX is not giving them time to breathe, and look at that, they're just bombarding the empty. Fisherman's just trying to live their life, man. They're just trying to live their life, but OPX will not be giving them that luxury. Fisherman, in fact, last person standing again, and Francie's just trying to finish this off, and they're being really careful here. They don't want to lose any of their players, especially since there's like a 4th and 5th party as well. AK is nearby. We got LHC smelling the blood as well. They're drawn to this. They want a piece of this pie. They want some elimination points, and they're gonna get it. We're seeing almost the end of the game, and they know that they have to go aggressive here. But AK, they're losing a lot of players. LHC as well. It looks like they'll be losing in, but Fisherman finally gets put down into the ground. We're seeing another elimination, and oh, just blink and we have 5 teams left. That's a lot of eliminations that happened back and forth and back to back, in fact. And Leon's here, still full squad by the way, but unfortunately 3 eliminations still. Kind of hoping they catch up in terms of eliminations, especially since we got 15 players left. They have to catch up in terms of points, especially since they're competing against like how many teams that are more or less the same number of points that they have already. And so the competition is kind of close as of this moment. Then again, we're still in the second map. All right, we got LHC. It looks like they will be eliminated next. We got 4 teams left. That's Leons, TM7, Opex, and NONX. And so with that, TM7 right now, they got the momentum. They have 8 eliminations on their side, but they only have half the squad. They only have 2 players left. And so question is, so will that deter their fight for the chicken dinner, or will they actually manage to clutch this out despite 4 teams that outnumber that play? Now rather, NONX already down to 2 last players, and looks like NONX just got 1 player knocked down. We got some damage done by the blue zone. Anu's trying to move into the play zone. That's taking a lot of damage, and it looks like NONX will be saying goodbye as of this moment. Leon, Team 7, Opex, last 3 teams left standing. We're seeing some sprays on from Leon's, from Team 7, from Opex as well. Opex is holding on to their survivability. Actually, this is actually really, really good on their part. They're keeping themselves alive. They have the numbers advantage. They have a huge chance. In fact, the assets say 52.5% chance that they will be getting this chicken dinner. You can see Leons, they got 1 player that needs to be revived. Team 7 already half of their team left. Pinchu and Reiji, they're playing this really safe, but Pinchu with the 7 eliminations already, that's a really good track record. But I digress. TM7 actually had 3 players only, so this is really impressive. Especially since TM7 got like so many eliminations compared to what the other teams did with like full squads with 4 players on their lobbies. But Raiji and Pinchu, they already lost Nitro, so they gotta do this as a pair from now on. We got OPX, they got OPX nearby. Leons gets spotted by Rain from Opex. Alright, let's see if they'll get some eliminations on their side. Stage 7 of the circle is gonna be closing in. Less than half and in fact quarter of a minute left to go, and so we'll be seeing stage A really soon. Very on the ground, trying to heal up from this quarter of a health. Oh, Pinchu gets caught up by Rain, and that's gonna be a gun down. I don't know where the rest of TM7 is. Raging, where is this guy? Raging actually manages to get down OPX. Fantastic. And so OPX, they're losing one player for now. We still have Hunter, Rain, and a Frenzy. They are definitely on a frenzy as of this moment. They're getting in and putting all the resources in. You can see Hunter has 0 grenades right now, and they do need those grenades. But Leons is down, so this is down to Opex and TM7 2 versus 4. So it looks like Pinchu managed to get revived. So this is a 2 versus 3. Grenades coming in. Raging goes down into the ground. Hunter is closing in, and it's a lot of sprays. Oh, the camera just missed it, but in the end, will be getting that winner chicken dinner for this second map. Congratulations to Opex. Crazy survivability. They came in the last few minutes of the game. They still had all 4 players standing. They looked out for each other. They got the eliminations that they need, and now they have the chicken dinner. And let's just look at the stats real quick. We got Hunter with the 6 eliminations. We got Rain with 4, Frenzy with 1. Fantastic. Unfortunately 0, but we still see 199 damage going on to their part of the team stats. But yeah, nonetheless, congratulations once again. This should be a total of 21 total points for this map alone, and I mean 11 eliminations is just absolutely crazy. And so we have the match rankings. We got 21 total points as we saw a while ago, but here rank number 2 is actually E2S TM7 with 16 total points. Yes, we saw the 10 eliminations, but just shy of 1 elimination point as compared to Opex. And so Leon's coming in third with 10 points. We got JNS OG did a really good job with 7 points. Lovins 7 as well. NONX and NRS and OPZ each got 6 points. I'm really happy for NONX, especially since they were like bottom 1, like the bottom team just from Rondo, and now they have like 6 points from just this map alone. I'm really proud of them. But here's the MVP. It's gonna be none other than Pinchu with such really lucky numbers. This guy needs to go to a slot machine. What is that damage with the 777? And they have 7 eliminations too. They got 1 assist and 2 headshots. Guys, don't gamble. I'm just joking. I'm just talking about slot machines. But yeah, 777. What a great number. But yes, overall rankings, Opex and Leons, they have their top 1 and top 2. So Opex managed to basically jump all the way to rank number 1. They had a really good Rondo run, and now they have the chicken dinner, and so that just gives them 25 total points. Leon's coming in at 22, only 3-point gap. And Enforce Esports and E2S TM7 each have 21, a 1-point gap from Leon's. So the top few ranks of this Group B stage, still very volatile. Still a lot of things could still happen, especially for the fact that we have 3 matches left. We have 2 Miramars and 1 Erangel. And after the break that's going to be happening later on, we will be seeing our very first Miramar, and then that's just going to be it. We're going to be seeing exactly what's going to be happening in this Group B stage, and the things are gonna get really serious. And before we see that Miramar, of course, we will be taking a short break. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be seeing you soon in a few minutes.
දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපොඩැන්නවාන්.
And that is it. We are back to Ooredoo Nation Gamers Land Esports Contender Series Season 3. We just saw map number 2, and that's going to be our Erangel with OPEX as our chicken dinner winners, our second chicken winner dinners for this Group B stage, in fact. And so, with that, we'll be seeing our very first Miramar map for our Group B stage players. And this is going to be exciting because we saw how they played out in Rondo, very aggressive. If you guys were here for the Rondo map of this Group B stage, we saw they were incredibly aggressive. But when it mattered the most, they all kept themselves alive by the 10-minute mark, despite the many eliminations that happened. Still, there were all 70 teams, all 67 players still standing by the 10-minute mark. And, there were a couple of squad wipeouts by maybe minute 15 or so. And so that's actually understandable since the circles actually closed in during that time. And so with that, the question is now, will what we see will be the discipline that we've seen in Rondo and Erangel alike be carried off to Miramar? Because more or less, Erangel and Miramar, they're a little bit the same. Um, there's not a lot of foliage. There's a lot of buildings. There's a lot of tall buildings, a lot of elevations, but still, it's different from Rondo. It's different from Erangel as well. And well, honestly, if you guys have been here in PUBG a while, you would say Erangel and Miramar are very different maps. But considering the fact that Rondo is very different, now I can say Miramar and Erangel are kind of similar, in terms of play style. There's no second chances, and they have to play really, really safe. But the difference here is Miramar has a lot of elevations, so this is kind of like a sniper haven in terms of like PUBG, but, in terms of like sort of FPS sort of thing, because there's a lot of places where the players can just ride up with their cars, go onto the, I don't know if you can call them mountains or hills, but they can go ahead and go to those places, those vantage points, and then just scope out the place and try to see any sort of stray movements that they can snipe down. And that's like the beauty of Miramar. There aren't a lot of foliages. If you saw in Wrangle, there's so much grass, there's so much trees. It's just hard for in terms of visibility, despite the fact that there's a lot of open fields. Still, it's hard. But speaking of hard, we can see the flight path. Yes, it goes from north to down towards the around the southeastern part, but the circle is quite up north. In fact, you can't even see maybe the top 10% of the circle. It's very biased towards the top, and so southernmost point is probably a bit of Picado, and after that, it's just everyone else is just trying to get as much of the space as possible. So the stage one circle might be a bit more brutal than usual since there's not a lot of space and not a lot of surface area to go around with. But here, 187 Valkyrie rather, and DMTs actually landed in the same area, and this is like the southernmost place that people dared to drop into. And so with that, and the problem with not being able to loot the place up as much as they want to, since they have to watch out for DMT as well. They have to watch out for the other team that landed in the same area. They don't have a lot of freedom to go around and take place up. So it might be a little bit hard for DMT and Valkyrie. They have to play really safe. So Buzzy, it looks like Buzzy took a lot of damage, but they haven't gotten knocked out yet. But this is what I'm worried about. Just looking at what Kiwi's inventory looks like, there aren't a lot of items. They literally just picked up like a few throwables and healing kits. Was that a healing kit? I think it was an energy drink. But here, Ayu, yes, exactly one healing kit. They have a decent amount of ammo, but this is it. This is actually what she has going. I'm gonna assume this is a she because Valkyrie is usually like a female group, and Valkyrie in like Nordic mythology, they are a group of girls. So yeah, basically, as I can see right now, they have a little bit of more leeway because they are towards the northern part of that compound, and so they can like walk around a little bit more freely than the rest of their teams. But here, STL and OPX also landed on the same area. Once again, OPX, they did get that chicken dinner in the previous game. So right now, they don't want to confirm the curse and get picked off so early on, because that's exactly what happened to Enforce Esports in the previous game. They got picked off early on, and then they couldn't quite get the points that they needed, and it ended up that Opex and Leons had caught up to them in terms of points, considering the fact that Enforcers had 21 total points, and then the next team had like 12 points. There's a lot of points to catch up and enforces pretty much the universe equalized everything, and so that just happened unfortunately. But here, CEO of TM7, Seo or CEO, yes, they did get knocked down. They can still revive, so it's fine. DMT peeking in. Valkyries nearby, and they're pretty much just biding their time. They're trying to play this really, really safe. They don't want to lose players too early on, but they also have to hurry up. They have 3 minutes left before the stage one circle closes in. And then after that, maybe they can stay for maybe stage two or stage three, but they can't stay too long. They can't stay too long because they're really far off from the northern part. But TM7 is right. He does find one from DMT. Kiwi from Kyrie goes down silent and gets picked up by Aish. So that should be a 1-for-1 trade. Fisherman is just right behind this corner. There's two from Valkyrie from right behind. And Fisherman comes in, but Aish is in the other side. They need to heal up. They can't quite go aggressive here. They don't have a lot of choice, and it looks like Aish gets finished off by Senzo. Alright. We got a couple more players left to worry about, but it's gonna be Buzzy that's gonna be a little bit far off, and Zenzo and Fisherman giving the chase going up this building. They're gonna be waiting for been outside of this compound this whole time, and so pretty much holding on to the group, holding on to the participation of this group in this map. And so DMT, they could go ahead and hunt down IU, but they don't even have information as to where this person is. They don't even know if IU still in this area. And so whether or not we'll get the information that they need, we'll be finding out later on. But for now, 187 Val does have one player left. The best thing that could happen right now is pretty much wait out for placement points, but it's way too early on. There's still no team that got wiped out. Speaking of wiped out, oh, Sayil gets eliminated from this situation. Stelion. There's just one player. OPX is nearby. OPX still full squad, by the way. So this is a 3 versus 4, but Stelion will not be backing away. They will not be disengaging. OPX. They're not going too aggressive yet. You need to gather a lot of information and make sure that they don't get flanked. But Hunter goes right outside, tries to scout out the area. Some grenades are cooking. Alright. They're just going back and forth. Iato is inside of this building alongside another one of the players. Once again, Stelion down by one player, so they have a slight disadvantage in terms of numbers, so they can't lose another player. Alright, we got a grenade action going. There's an Uzi in the hand of Iato. I'm a little bit stressed out. It's like 8 minutes into the game. They don't have the best guns yet, and I think that's because they've been watching each other out for like the longest time. So that's probably why they don't have the best of guns. Again, we got OPX Hunter. They managed to get down Sanihu. Ooh, there's only Bahis left from the side of Stelion, and we got the SMG in hand. They're burning from the Molotov frenzy to put a lot of damage there, but they're gonna be going up the staircase. No choice. Stelion has to fall in this situation. They managed to pretty much pincher attack this guy, but oh, Rain gets shot down by a third party. This is and it looks like we got 15 teams back into the game. And so this is gonna be what we're gonna be watching out for. Valkyrie, yes, they still have IU in. They're surviving, and hopefully we'll be seeing those placement points going into 187 Valkyrie because that is the pretty much the best thing that they can do as of this moment. But JNS OG, yes, they still have full squad. 12 minutes into the game. It looks like we lost two teams already, two squad wipeouts, so it's still the same thing. We're still stage 2 of the circle. And we're going to be watching out for what the rest of the teams are going to be up to since we have 53 players left standing. So we're gonna be just gonna be chilling. I think everyone's just gathering resources in the spirit of Miramar. Everyone is pretty much just waiting for the time as of this moment. We're just waiting for the circle to close in. This is what is expected of Miramar. We're not really surprised. Nothing will happen from minute 5 or 6 until minute 15. Lots of things are probably not going to happen, and so we're just going to be chilling. All the players, they're just going to be rotating and minding their own business. There's a camel. I love the camels, by the way. I think those are new because I was surprised like a couple of streams ago. I don't play Miramar, okay? I don't play Miramar on my PUBG. I hate Miramar. I hate like the desert, but I think the camels are relatively new. But all right, we got Kali actually finds LHC's poison. We got an elimination of a team. NONX. Is it NONX? No, that doesn't make sense since there's still 15 teams left. But yeah, I think we should be good. We should be good. We just saw one knockdown from a player. We're still seeing 52 players, so that was just a knockdown. Wasn't confirmed or anything like that. Maito does find OPZ from a distance. They're just trying to rotate into the area, but Maito does have the high ground. Leon's Barry, Leon's I know both get knocked down by the LHC, and so these ain't going well. But after the meme of 6-7, I'm seeing a lot of players putting 6-7 on their names. You know what? Not bad. It's kind of funny, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit amused. But here, we're watching Elf Lovins. There's Enforce nearby. Aku is just trying to chill out. I mean, I don't know where the rest of Enforce is, however, but looks like there's still a full squad, but I can't find anyone else. But here, JNS OG, they're still in the game. We got Leons and LHC. I'm kind of scattered all around the area in water treatment. They're still within the play zone, but some of them are in the yellow zone as well, so they gotta keep moving. They can stay there for maybe a minute or so, but they should probably worry about the stage 4 circle later on. That's gonna be a considerable amount of damage. They don't want to stay there for too long. But here, Manco's car is smoking and not in a good way. We got Kali, could still be revived, but that grenade is cooking. I don't know if it's gonna hit. Oh, Kali gets finished off, and Eddie took a bit of damage back there, and so there's just one player left on the side of Leon's. Not looking good. Eddie should be hiding about. There's still 15 teams, so playing for placement points, it's gonna be really hard. Speaking of placement points, IU gets found at 187. Val gets taken down at third team. He's gonna be seeing the lobby, and here Eddie last person standing. It's gonna be really hard to try to disengage from this fight, especially since LHC is nearby. They know Eddie's here, and they're gonna try to take Eddie down. But here, of course, it looks like Eddie does have one elimination on their side. They got the pickup truck. I think they can still disengage from this place, but there's so many people to worry about. It might actually be quite hard to try to maneuver out of this place. But here, Sakura does have the high ground. They spot ARK from below. You can get those sprays on. We see Lovins and AK also going at it at each other. I think pretty much there's a couple of engagements happening at the same time. Graham's like right down there inside of a shack. I believe there's a shack in there. And Lovins, they're holding this position. It's a nice position, but it will be eaten up by the blue zone later on. They can't stay there for too long, especially since this is a stage 4 circle. The stage 5 circle is gonna hurt a lot, so they can't stay there. But here, OPX, fantastic, is getting shot at. They got spotted by, I believe it would be GameOver Yakuza. He's gonna be spotting them. All right, we got Mikey getting those sprays on OPX. There's a little bit of damage connecting Frenzy. In fact, going on the red, about to get knocked down. But the question is, will this be a final knockdown, or will this just be an opportunity for a revive? Because there's two, Fantastic and Frenzy, both go down alike. Hunter's just trying to hunt them down, trying to finish this off. You don't want to give that elimination to Game Over or anyone else in that particular vicinity, because there's so many teams. There's actually like several teams in this play that could access those knockdowns. They don't want to give those elimination points to anyone else. That is their hard work, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We're 18 minutes into the game, 35 players still left remaining. We got 13 teams still standing. Surprisingly, the survivability of these players is insane. We're stage 4 of the circle. We only lost like how many teams, but the biggest but is that we're shaved down to about half of our lobby. We only have 35 players left remaining. We had like maybe 67 or 66 players that joined in. Not quite sure, maybe 65, because they were 65 in the Orango map. So nonetheless, yes, this is what's going to be happening as of this moment. We got ARC, they're going to be joining in. They're still a full squad, but they're definitely being gunned down by Hunter, hunting these players. But Hunter gets hunted as well. Who shot down Hunter? And that's going to be Pacific from ARC. That is a revenge knockdown for what Hunter has done to their teammates. And you can see Fisherman's just going to be going on and trying to get perhaps a little bit of a revenge, a sort of arc that's going to be happening from DCM to DMC. Alright, we got ARK on the crosshairs of Fisherman. Let's see if it's gonna be fruitful, but it looks like Fisherman will be shot at instead. Psyche does go onto the ground. Pacific is still nearby. They could still revive the player. That's exactly what DMT and ERC are kind of doing, like within their teams as well. And it looks like ARK will be eliminated completely. In fact, we got 10 teams left. Just blink, and we got 3 teams that got eliminated off within 2 minutes. That's absolutely insane, actually. And I think part of that is because there are a lot of teams that are actually just like 1 or 2 players left. Leons, in fact, I believe Eddie should still be out there alive. But, oh, Pacific, they didn't notice Hunter was there the entire time. They took a lot of damage. They go right into the ground. It's Mikey that took that knockdown for themselves. DMT has to go and get that elimination for themselves. They can't give it away to GameOver Yakuza. They don't want to get that kill steal to their part, but it looks like, alright, Fisherman goes right into the ground again. They keep reviving themselves, but that's what's important. Exactly, they have to get that survivability and they have to keep themselves alive. That's the important part. Unfortunately, Silent from DMT gets eliminated off amongst their team. So I don't know if they can stay here. It seems that this place isn't so safe. They have to find another place to go about. But here, Arancars, yes, we got solid. Last person standing. OPZ, they're still in the game. We got 3 players left. OG Luffy fell off somewhere. I'm not sure why, but yeah, nonetheless, we still have 9 teams left, and a lot of the bottom teams actually, just statistically, okay, a lot of the bottom teams already got picked off, so it looks like it might be the big dogs, the big names that will be going against each other. This is a war of the giants, I suppose, because, well, a lot of the bottom players have already left the map as of this moment. So compared to the previous map where some of the top teams already got picked up early on, now it's going to be the top teams who will be catching up in terms of points. They're not going to be giving chances as of this moment, but not to fret, there are 2 maps left. So we have to work extra hard to get a lot of those points. But over here, yes, Etio does fine, 75-2 from I believe that's Enforcers, and we got a couple of knockdowns. Question is, will those turn into turn into confirmations? Will those turn into eliminations? Because I'm still seeing 9 teams, despite the fact that we've shaved down to 18 remaining players. A while ago, it was like what, 20 ish, almost 30, and now we're down to 18, despite the fact that there's still the same number of teams. But right now, Lovins finally finds their last player getting eliminated, and we're down to 8 teams. It looks like Opex, yes, number one team, will get eliminated off. So Lovins is following up as well. It's kind of a shame. Lovins and DMT alike also got eliminated off, and they have so much um elimination points for themselves. Beyond Team 7, they both did well. Team 7 in particular, very, very consistent with the maps so far. Leons as well, very consistent. Opex, they got a really good game, especially in the previous game, and they got like a decent game in Rondo, and now they have a decent amount of points as well on this game. So right now the leaderboard is very volatile, as I said in the previous assets. I said that they're only like a couple of points against each other, and things could change, especially with what's happening here. But speaking of change, there are only 2 teams. I just blinked, and it's only Akuma and Forces that's gonna be left. And Forces still full squad. Akuma does have 3 players. So we got Banu picking up the grenade. What just happened, dude? Dude got a little bit nervous back there. He threw the grenade at the wall, but here, okay, let's just forget what happened there. But Akuma does have 1 player that got knocked down, so it's not a good idea. They only have half their squad active left, but unfortunately, they're gonna be coming in like cops. They're gonna be banging down your door. They have a warrant to progress. They're trying to take down Akuma, and Bano is just gonna be the last person standing. Question is, will this be a clutch? 8x scope doesn't manage to get gunned down in, and instead it's Enforce Esports that will be getting the winner chicken dinner. That is the second chicken dinner. It's not back to back, but still it's very, very good for Enforce Esports. Previous game in Erangel, it got picked off quite early. In fact, I think they're maybe the first or second seed to get wiped out in Erangel, but they popped up once again. They bounced back. They got their Rondo winner in the chicken dinner. They got the Miramar chicken dinner as well. Enforce Esports, what a great team. We got Phoenix with the 3 eliminations, 8 Expo with 1, and so Aku and 7352 each have 0 eliminations. So they prioritized maybe survivability as of this game, but in Rondo they were definitely a little bit more a little bit slightly a little bit more aggressive, not too aggressive, not like a Leon's or Lovin's level aggressive, but still like more or less, yes, very good sort of performance coming in from these teams. But yes, we do have 14 points from Enforce Esports from this match. I'm just gonna say straight up 14 points is really low for the teams, especially the fact that this is already the highest amount of points amongst any of the teams. Coming up next is Lovins Akuma and TM7, each with 13 points only from this map. So that just means the points have been spread out all throughout like so many of the teams, and so it just means that the overall leaderboard is not going to be tipping over to anyone's favor. But here, Leon's Eddie does have the MVP with the 4 eliminations and 668 damage. Eddie has been a solo player on this map for like how many minutes? And so they held on to Leon's. I'm not sure if Leon's did get um, placement points. I didn't quite catch that, but Leon's Eddie definitely did a great job. But here is the overall rankings in Force Esports with the 2 chicken dinners. They have 35 total points, but followed up by E2S TM7 with 34 points, just lagging behind by 1 point. And this is what I'm talking about, the volatility of the overall rankings. Just one good game or one bad game from one of these teams, things can change immediately. And we got Leon's up third, 30 points, but Opex going behind by 29 points. We got 26 points from Lovins. In fact, even Lovins Akuma from rank number 9, they're like 20 points. So lots of things can still happen, actually. In fact, if 187 Valkyrie has a really good game and a chicken dinner plus a decent amount of elimination points, that could easily be like what, 20 points, 25 points. It could still jump all the way to the first page. Just one good game from the any of the teams from page number 2, they could change their fate. And so with that, we got the third map done and dusted. That is two winner chicken dinners for Enforce Esports. That was the Rondo and the Miramar. And of course, Opex with the Erangel in the previous game. Congratulations once again. After this, we'll have two more maps left to go. And this is what I'm talking about. Things can still change. We still have a lot of things that could happen within two maps. So some teams will pop up, some teams will shine, and some teams might fall off. And so that's exactly what we'll be looking out for later on. But before that happens, before we go to match number 4, we will be going on to a short break. So guys, do not go anywhere. We'll be seeing you soon in a few minutes.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරුගි පොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරුගි පොඩැන්නවාන්. දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන්.
And we are back to Ooredoo Nation Gamers Land Esports Contender Series Season 3. This is once again PUBG. We just witnessed map number 3, and we'll be moving on to map number 4. And of course, very, very much impressive is Enforce Esports with their second chicken dinner that we just saw a while ago. It's just absolutely amazing from these guys. And I'm really excited to see what map number 4 will look like. Will we see a repeat chicken dinner from these guys? Will we be seeing that in map number 5? Or will we be seeing another team shine? Because there are a lot of teams that are very, very decent in Group B. But it's just that the survivability is just a little bit not very that survivability. Like it's not they couldn't quite like hold on to their survivability as much. And well, it's just like it's still a qualifier stage, so I'm not going to be telling the teams to give it their best. They actually had to hide their best strategies for now in the qualifier, as they don't want to give too much away, especially since this is streamed, and so teams could like do VOD reviews. They could go ahead and watch the stream again and try to study your movements after that. So you don't want to give too much away, and so for this qualifier round, just do your best to qualify. If your team is like good enough, then maybe go for top 3. And if they could do it as well, they could go for the playoffs, go for the semifinals. But as of this moment, yes, the goal here is to qualify, and that is it. And of course, we will be going on to round number 4. We're going to match number 4 rather, and that's going to be back to Erangel. I can see the Sazafo military base from our western perspective, so we should be going on from the southeast going up to the northwest. I believe I can see Jojo Pool in that little delta sort of area, or rather it's a bay. I think Jojo Pool is a bay. And some teams gonna be dropping off that might be Pochinki, I believe. It's so Valkyrie will be dropping off there. GameOver Yakuza is also nearby. And just watching out for what where else the other teams are going to be dropping off to. I see Game Over there. They're pretty much in the same area, and it looks like there'll be school nearby. They'll be dropping off at school instead of Pochinki, and so might be seeing maybe an early game engagement again with Valkyrie. And it's another team actually. Game Over Yakuza is not the team that they ran into in the early game engagement in the previous map, but still nonetheless it's something that they should be worried about, especially since Keymover is like presumably they're trying to drop off at school as well. They're locking in on this site. They could go to Pachiki instead, but they're landing in the same place. But over here, yes, Kiwis doesn't get 2. Actually, I saw 2 already got knocked down by Kiwis alone. But here, Kiwi finally goes into the ground. Let's see if Aish can go ahead and give that revenge knockdown for their teammate. I'm kind of just looking around. Where in the world is Game Over? I think that's it for Game Over, actually. They're saying goodbye already. Valkyrie managed to wipe them out. That's crazy. All right, I see these guys. I'm really happy for them because they did get wiped out very, very early on in the previous game. They got 3 players wiped out early on, and then they had I believe it was like IU who managed to get away and then maybe stayed alive for a couple more minutes, and they couldn't quite get the placement points that they needed. But still, 4 eliminations, a really good sign for Valkyrie as of this moment. So yeah, we got 16 teams left, and it looks like ARK will be going up against DMT. DMT already finding an engagement, and you can see the Uzi. So this is like peak early game engagement core, peak early game engagement vibes that we're seeing right now. We're seeing just guns that you wouldn't be seeing in 20 minutes into the game. In stage 6 circles, you won't be seeing SMGs, you won't be seeing Uzis. But as of this moment, they're going to be using whatever they have on hand. It looks like Silent and Honcho
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිපොඩැන්නවන්
To 16 teams. Not back. We are still with 16 teams after a couple of minutes have passed. But okay, I respect the teams. They're still at it against each other. Valkyrie, in fact, still alive, which is very, very respectful. In fact, because this should be, I'm assuming, their second engagement in the game. They're still in the running, and it looks like Kiwis finds E2. Kiwis is on a roll right now. Kiwis had three elimination. Now they have four from this engagement with this new team. So this is really really nice to see from Valkyrie that we're seeing right now. So non-X, yes, they're down to two players. I believe they came in with only three players. So um yeah, that confirms it. And Kiwi just took down E2 from non-X. And so with that, it's just gonna be Sanipo and Zion that's gonna be left. Valkyrie is disengaging. However, are they disengaging? I think they're just repositioning as of this moment. You can see two players in their cars trying to go ahead and reposition themselves. They have like a numbers advantage. They have like twice the number of players up against non-X. But the question is, I don't really know if they have the information, if they know that non-X only has three players. And so with that, grenade bounces off really beautiful. I can't quite see what damage is done, but Zion already gets gunned down, and Ayu is going to be taking that elimination for themselves. There should be one person left from non-X. I don't know where that person is. I can't see them on the mini map. So they managed to get away just in time. Valkyrie is going to be going ahead and rotating out of this area. I don't think there's anything else to stay for here, and so they'll go ahead and try to find a better place to either loot the place up or maybe find another engagement for themselves. But speaking of engagements, he himself finds ARK Pacific, goes down into the ground. Psyche, Solid, and Liquid are still in the game. I just noticed that Solid and Liquid are like, I don't know. I find the usernames funny, but Pacific getting eliminated is definitely not funny, especially since they still have two eliminations and they still need so much points. But speaking of points, Raging goes down into the ground. Unfortunately, they got pinched up by their cars up against the wall. That was just not a good place to be. Unfortunately, might be a little bit of a hiccup in the controls back there, but TM7's Raiji, they could have stayed alive. TM7 is such a great group, it's such a great squad, such a great team, and if only they stayed alive, they could probably have great things happening in this game. But nonetheless, CEO and Pinshu are both still alive, and in fact, TM7, they have control over what I presume looks like the bridge going onto the Sosnovka military base. And so, well, with that, I'm going to be watching out for what they want to do next. It looks like a stage 2 circle still includes the bridge, and they're banking on the fact that perhaps there's still a possibility that this will turn into a Sosnovka last few stages, a late game. So they're going to be trying for maybe gatekeep that's gonna be happening on the bridge, and you can see they have almost pretty much control over this bridge. TM7, yes, they are down to half of their group, but still they have a lot of control, a lot of map control in terms of this situation. But yes, LNN Leons, they're kind of nearby as well. They could be contesting this. Speaking of contesting Opex, they do find another team nearby to getting some guns out into the open. I'm a little bit confused because they are in the same color, but that is actually ARK. You guys have to keep your eyes peeled. They are more or less the same color, but B does get taken out by that Molotov. And so that leaves ARK with two last players as of. But here, TM7, yes, two versus I don't know how many of Leons are there, but they definitely just lost one player back there. I believe Eddie just got them down. Cali's out in the open. This is not a good place to be at. This is gonna be so hard for a revive to happen. Very able to do something about this, but Pinchu does have a really good angle to try to gun down this vehicle, and so Barry cannot step out of there very easily. They have a lot of armor going on from just the vehicle, but Kali, good chance that they could still be revived, but Anu is doing the risk, taking that risk and trying to get that revive in the back. There's a lot of grenades coming about. Kali does go on to the ground, gets finished off. Anu, half health. Barry, I'm not quite sure where they are. I think they're trying to go ahead and give that back up to them, but TM7 and Leon, they've equalized in terms of numbers. Leon's went down one after the other, but CEO gets hit by the grenade. Barry, and so this is 1 versus 2. Pinchu, all that's left up in the bridge. I don't think CEO can be saved from this situation, but Anu and Barry, yes, they do have the high ground and the low ground. Barry's a little bit more on the defensive side. They're trying to heal up, but Pinchu is a beacon right now. They could be targeted so easily, and I mean, you gotta be really careful with your steps here, with where you're gonna be stepping on. And CEO, don't know if they could still be saved, but Leon's is definitely not prioritizing trying to take them down. They're just trying to draw out Pichu, giving them the illusion that there's still a chance that their teammate could still be saved. They gotta get out and try to get this elimination in, but looks like Anu does finally finish off CEO. I don't know if they ran out of help or they really put a bullet in there, but yeah, nonetheless, Stelion, we're gonna be seeing Stelion on our screens. There's Lovins nearby too, and so let's just see what's gonna be happening. I think Lovins is going on for the aggressive stance that we're gonna be seeing right now. They're surrounding this compound. They're in fact they're going on putting their cars inside. But here, Arancars does find engagement for themselves. Actually, Liquid's all alone. Oh no, Solid's also nearby, and Psyche does need to get revived. Oh, that's two knocked out. It's just Liquid in their boat, in the Liquid part of this map. And so this is not a good look, but we can still, there's still a chance they could still get the revival. But OPZ Esports goes very aggressively. This is not going to end up well. So Etio is just putting a lot of bullets in, trying to see if they can get any stray bullets to come around. But here, OPZ finally finishes ARK off. Now we're seeing 14 teams all have to go. I'm saying ARK as in Arancars because there's also an ARK Esports. But here, Leons versus OPZ, there should be a third-party situation happening as of this moment. But here, we're also be watching out JNS OG and going up against OPEX. I can see 4 players from OPX, and I presume JNS is also a full squad. So potential 4 versus 4. Still fresh off the boat. We got zero eliminations from DNS OG, so they have to start catching up in terms of points. Just looking at the eliminations right now, it's still Val that's going to be leading the charge. They do have 6 eliminations, and that's probably by they ran into so many engagements so early on. It's a good thing that they managed to hold their ground this whole time. And so with that, let's watch out what OG and OPX is going to do, because it looks like they'll be biding their time. Here, Barry is all alone, but I'm presuming that Anu is still out there. Okay, Anu is out in the open, going for another angle. Oh, Nani goes right into the ground, I believe. Yes, they are knocked down, and Anu's just trying to finish them off, and just one more bullet, and that's it. They managed to snag been 2 eliminations so far. The White and Ezio are still nearby, and they don't know that Leons has such a great array of angles up against them. They got like a 90-degree sort of angle that they just can't give OPZ a break as to where they can hide out. And White is trying to avoid Barry, and Anu is also going in from this angle, try to gun them down. And there's still a lot of smoke, and it's making Anu's life a little bit hard. But right now, OPZ, presumably, I don't think they have any viable vehicles as of this moment, and time is ticking on the smoke screens, so it looks like they're going to be trailing away. Actually, they're trying to get away, try to make a trail of smoke and try to get out of this situation, because OPZ is just not in a good situation right now. But Anu and Barry, they're deciding to go in on the aggressive. They're gonna be going in down and dirty with their hands, and they're gonna be finishing this off once and for all. Very, very low visibility, so they should probably be very careful as to where they put their feet in. But Ezio is gonna be first to fall, and then it's gonna be fall out with White, and that's it. Leons wipes out OPZ. They got 4 eliminations on their side. Barry and Anu still alive. Pinchu finds Soli from LVN. And I'm kind of just watching out as to what the teams are going to be doing. I left Lovins. Yes, Soli is the only casualty so far. It's just a knockdown, so they don't have to worry too much. But TM7, it looks like they're actually down to one last player, so it might be a little bit hard to stay alive in this situation, especially since LHC is also nearby. They probably heard all those gunshots, and Stelion is also towards this northeastern position. So with that, we're just gonna be watching out for what's happening next. It looks like Enforcer's X8X scope will get finished off by another team, but Phoenix does have the revenge kill in the bag. They finished off the killer of their teammates. That's very interestingly. We're gonna be watching out for Forsaken as well. We're seeing Akuma nearby. Akuma is just minding their own business in this compound, in this building, and I'm gonna presume that Forsaken will want to go on the aggressive. It looks like they're trying to make an entry as of this moment. It looks like, oh, Joker, oh no, Ash does find a really good angle, manages to gun down Joker just like that. It's not even, no question whatsoever. Forsaken, the entry, there was a problem with the entry back there. They're very out in the open, and Akuma punished them for that. It's way too easy for Akuma in that situation. But here we're going to be seeing what the map is going to look like. Actually, that circle is not a lot of buildings. I think there are a few buildings where Lovins is positioned at right now. But other than that, it might be an open field sort of last few stages. But here, Enforcer is losing a lot of players. In fact, they're down to one last player, and that last player is holding on to dear life, and that dear life has been taken away. Enforce Esports has been eliminated off. I don't know what's with Erangel and Enforce Esports. It's just not a good mix. They got the chicken dinner in Rondo. They got the chicken dinner in Miramar, but in Erangel, they're one of the first few teams to get picked up. I don't know what's happening right now. I think their Achilles heel is this map. Nonetheless, yes, we're down to 11 teams. We got 20 minutes into the game. This is like more or less one of the slow games, but judging from what the rest of the maps kind of showed us, like there's a time that we got double digits on the teams, and then you blink and there's only 5 teams left. So this could be a possibility, especially since this is a stage 5 circle. We still have 32 players that remain. A lot of them are single players. Several of them rather are single players, and some of them have a lot of teams that got picked up. But nonetheless, there are a lot of teams still that have full squads, so this could get really bloody really, really fast. But Team 7 does get eliminated off. But then again, Team 7 has been a solo player. Pichu has been a solo player this whole time. So it's not in 1 minute, 2 teams get the wipe out. So now we have our eyes peeled because things could go really fast from this point onward. Now Nagato is nearby. They need the revive, but Frenzy's I'm just assuming that the line of thought Frenzy right now is trying to draw out the rest of their players, trying to revive the play, giving them a false sense of security. In fact, they're just using them as fate. But here, Frenzy, yes, that's exactly what happened. The rest of their team going in, trying to rescue their players. But okay, it looks like NONX does get eliminated off and off camera. But here, Shitey does get shot at Opex, I believe. And Frenzy going on a Frenzy with their guns. Not much connections. I'm not seeing it going on to the kill feed, but there's a lot of effort to be had. Ayu from Valkyrie, yes, they got the crosshairs out. They have late elimination. This is what I'm talking about, guys. One really good game from players from the second page. And this is exactly what's happening for 187 Val. I'm saying one good game could change their fate, and now they have a total of 13 points and counting. They're into placement points territory. We have 7 teams left, and Valkyrie is still a full squad. They could still potentially maybe get some more placement points, but unfortunately, just as I was saying, we're seeing 3 players from Valkyrie on the ground, and Lovins is we're watching out for Lovins because they're being they're too quiet right now. They're getting too quiet right now because they only have 1 elimination, although there's so much. This is literally a buffet of elimination points, but they're not going on the aggressive. I don't know what they're trying to prioritize as of this moment, but unfortunately 187 Val's run has to end a little bit early on. They have been eliminated off as 7th team. Now we're down to 6 teams. So with that, yes, stage 6 of the circle going on. Stage 7, we got 20 players left standing. Elon got gunned down by Mythic. Hunter just finds Sunny Who from Stelion. All right, we got a couple more knockdowns. Let's see if there's gonna be eliminations. But Leon's, yes, Barry will be the last person standing, and they get grenaded down, and that's it for one more team down from our lineup. Actually, in fact, now we're down to 5 teams. We got 17 players left remaining, and it's gonna be an absolute bloodbath. Look at the mini map. Look at how clustered this is. This is even more packed than my can of sardines, than my can of cheap sardines. But yes, we do have 16 players in our stage 7 circle, so it's gonna be really tight. Okay, Unknown gets gunned down by Solely. Lovins. Solely, very, very low in health. Oh, finally takes a lot of damage, and Banju is gonna be getting that elimination for themselves. Bano, rather. I'm really sorry, Bano. But yes, Hunter finds a Sunny who finishes them off by his as well. Gets finished off by Frenzy from OPX. Got 3 eliminations on the side of Akuma. And so they had a slow start, but right now, what matters right now is that they are here in the last few seconds of the game. Got 24 minutes into game stage 7 of the circle. We're seeing a clustering of 10 players, and it looks like we're down to 4 teams after Stelion, I believe, was the next one to go down. Lovins is next. Opex, Akuma, and NRS LHC are the last 3 teams standing. We got 8 teams left in 8 players rather left standing. We got Opex with the 3-man team. Akuma, unfortunately, last person standing, and LHC still 3 teams, 3 versus 1 versus 3. Akuma could go for the placement points, but unfortunately, just as I said it, they got gunned down. Got the first. They became the first victim in this scenario, and now it's just gonna be using up all, and I mean all of your resources. Monko had so many grenades, and Monko is using all of those grenades. There's no other reason to hold on to those grenades. This game is about to end, and they're giving it their all. Opex, last person standing. Hunter is trying not to get hunted right now. I don't think there's a possibility that the rest of their team can be saved as of this moment. Odin's gonna be swooping in, and I believe this is gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, never mind. There's one down on Adochi, but it's just not enough. OPX gets gunned down, and NRS LHC will be getting that winner chicken dinner. Congratulations once again to LHC. And now we're going to be looking at the team stats. What is Mythic doing with that 7 eliminations? That is an absolute lion's share. There's some teams that don't even have 7 eliminations, and this guy just got all of those 7 eliminations. And so we have Monko with 4 eliminations. That makes 11. We have Madboy and Odin each getting 1. And so that makes 13 points. Plus the 10 points from the placement points of the chicken dinner. That makes 23 total points. Now that is a normal amount of points. Just looking at how the rest of the maps have been doing, the highest points are maybe like 15 or 20. I was really hoping for a little bit more. And so this is a good start for LHC. This is 23 total points. And coming up second is actually Opex with the 17 total points. Coming up third is Valkyrie with 10 points. They're slowly catching up in terms of the overall ranking. So hopefully they have the same sort of performance in the next. Akuma coming up at number 4, and Leon's also at number 5 with 7 points. Lovins, etc. We can see the number of points. It dwindles down after that, but nonetheless, the what's important here is the consistency that we can see from the team. They have to stay and keep their ranks on the overall leaderboards. But here we have the MVP. We have Mythic with 7 eliminations, as we saw a while ago, and 749 damage. And we got 3 headshots, no assists as of this moment. And no question whatsoever. Mythic, yes. 7 eliminations. That's absolutely crazy. Some teams don't even have 7 total points in the overall rankings. And so with that, Opex does get that number 1 ranked spot. They got 46 total points. Number 2 is NONX Esports with 38, tying with LHC with 38 points. LHC pretty much jumped all the way to number 3 from so many points from this game alone. So from 15 points, they went all the way to 38. And this is what I've been saying about one good game, and this team's fate will change completely. And this is what's so volatile about the qualifier rounds. There are only 5 maps, so that means 5 chances, and things could change so fast from whatever map that will be having only 5 chances. That means you have only like how many chances in order to qualify, and you need to get at least rank number 9 in order to have a chance to see the grand finals. But as of this moment, yes, Opex and Force Esports and LHC, they're holding on to rank 1, 2, 3. But the biggest but is that TM7 and Leons are on 37 points. That's only 1 point away from LHC. They could contest that easily. They can contest and Force Esports easily. And so rank number 2 to rank number 5, it's just not a good place to be. They have to keep watching their backs. They have to work extra hard on match number 5, which is going to be Miramar, our very last match for the Group B qualifiers, day number 2. Yes, we more or less know which teams will probably at least go to the semifinals, but the question is the grand finals, the top 3, we're still not sure. Actually, things could change so much, even for rank number 1, which is only 42 points as compared to Skyforce yesterday with 60 points. They pretty much solidified their place in rank number 1. But right now, things could change so fast with one more map left to go. So we will be looking forward to that new map after the short break. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be seeing Miramar in a few minutes.
මුල් ඉදුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩැන්නවන් මුල් ඉදුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩැන්නවන් මුල් ඉදුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩැන්නවන්
And so this is it. It's going to be the last map for our Group B qualifier stage for this PUBG or Indonesian Gamers Lad Esports Contender Series Season 3. This is the last chance for our Group B teams to prove themselves worthy of stepping into either the semifinals or directly into the grand finals. And of course, this is the last chance they have to work extra hard, especially for the teams that could potentially still qualify for going straight to the grand finals, which is maybe go to the top three immediately. They don't have to go through the semifinals or anything like that. And also the teams that have to work a little bit harder to either keep their place within qualifying for the semifinals, or they want to qualify to get into the semifinals. Either of those situations, they have to work extra hard. And so, with that, they have their last chance in the Miramar that we'll be seeing later on in a couple of seconds, perhaps, or maybe a minute or so left to go. So, well, to the teams, to the 17 teams spots in this Ooredoo Nation Contender Series. They got to work extra hard right now, and this is their last chance for Group B. We're going on to Miramar, and we got 17 teams, and I don't know where the other players are because I can see 64 players only. So that means around my math's not so good. So there should be four teams with only three players. That or like some sort of combination of some teams maybe only have two players or something. I'm not quite sure, but this is not a good place to be. And so we're going to be watching out for what's going to be happening right now. The flight path will be starting off a little bit south of El Azahar, and then it'll go all the way down to Faya de Mar in the southwestern part of the map. So a lot of the northern part of the map is mostly inaccessible, especially maybe cut towards water treatment or maybe Hacienda del Patron at farthest. It might be a little bit hard to go through parachute alone. And so, if ever they want to go to El Pozo, if they want to go to Hacienda del Patron, I don't know why they'd want to why they'd want to go to La Cobera, though. But if ever they want to go to those places, they'll have to get cars, and that's gonna be a little bit more of a hassle than just landing somewhere else. But here we have a pretty similar circle as to what we saw on the previous Miramar map. It's a little bit higher up. Back then, before I believe the border of the circle is just shy off Picado, like they cut Picado in half, but now it's a little bit more forgiving. It's a little bit more south, and the same, more or less same at the center of the Miramar map. And so it's might be or might not be the same game that we saw a while ago, but I don't know what's happening here. Valkyrie has early game engagements again. We got Forsaken and Valkyrie landing more or less in the same area. But speaking of landing in the same area, Game Over versus another team, DMT, I believe OPX as well as another team. This is not going well. This is like some of these teams' last chance. And this is actually everyone's last chance. And there's already four casualties. We're only seeing 60 players left remaining. NONX, I think they got wiped out because I can see 16 teams left. Yep, that's exactly what happened. We saw a whole team casualty, and unfortunately, NONX finishing as ranked number 15 at the best. And so we'll be seeing NONX in maybe another tournament, but definitely not on the playoffs later on, unfortunately. So for the rest of the teams, they have to work extra hard. So I'm glad that Valkyrie is already at rank number 11. They just have to work extra hard just to overtake DMT. Perhaps it might be possible to go on to going to the playoffs later on. But Forsaken and Game Over, I think it's too far. Game Over, especially since they only have half their team left. It's just not a good place to start in. But all right, we got 100 trips, so and unfortunately it bounces off the wall, and so it's just gonna give off information to Game Over instead. I don't know if that was the intention of Hunter, but definitely Game Over will be looking out for DMT. They have their eyes peeled. They know there's someone out there trying to get them down. But look at Kiwi gets them down. Lala follows up. That's gonna be a trade for trade. But Go Ray is gonna be gunned down by Zenzo. So that just leaves one last player for Game Over Yakuza. And DMT, they're going on the aggressive. Hunter with the Uzi. Oh wow! With the Uzi finishes off Game Over Yakuza, and that is one more team seeing the lobby. We got 15 teams left, and it's only 4 minutes into the game. That's absolutely crazy. They're going on very aggressively, and now this is the trouble of the last maps of tournaments. It's that teams get so unpredictable. Either it's the fatigue, or maybe it's like knowing that they have nothing to lose, especially for the teams that know they can't qualify. They're just going to be going berserk and going very, very aggressively. Here, Valkyrie is just going to sidestep a lot of Forsaken's bullets. And just to think that Valkyrie came from another engagement, I believe, or was it? Oh, never mind. It was Forsaken this whole time, but they had some knockouts traded here and there, and now they're just trying to get each other down here in Picado. So, a couple of grenades cooking, and Valkyrie they're just holding the base. Forsaken's going more aggressively. They're trying to back Valkyrie into a corner, and so with that, spending their time, they have to conserve a lot of the resources since it's still so early on to the game. You can see KYZ and GB has no grenades right now. They only have like the rest of their throwables in, not much to work with. But here, all right, we got Valkyrie going 2 for 1, and it looks like Kiwi will be losing their life here, but they'll be treated off by KYZ and GB. Joker follows up, and that's finisher as well. But unfortunately, Aish rather will be the last person standing, but they could still revive Kiwi in this situation. But on the other hand, Forsaken, Joker still needs to be revived. Oh, nice shot, and that is Lala. That's all that's left for Forsaken. They could still revive the rest of their team, but unfortunately for 187 Valkyrie, that would be the end of their run. They finished off at 11 at best, and unfortunately, that's just not going to be seeing. I think that's not going to be seeing the playoffs, and so thank you so much for your participation, especially with the teams that just got eliminated off. 187 Val, NONX, GameOver. Unfortunately, that is it for their journey. But for the 14 teams still in the running, there could still be a chance. I don't know what Forsaken. They are ranked number 16. They did lose one player, but if they work extra hard, I don't know if they could pull off like maybe a 30 point a game or something close to that. It could be possible to qualify, but that's gonna be a really steep mountain to climb if ever that happens. But nonetheless, yes, we will be going back into the game. We're 7 minutes into the game. You can see Hacienda the Patron, OPZ nearby, Arancars trying to sell in as well. Nope, they're actually they're driving away. I don't know if they have information that OPEX is there, because if they did, I'm sure they would have stayed. But I suppose that they're not gonna be staying there for long. They're gonna be settling into some other area. But here, Arancars and Stelion, they're gonna be going up against each other. Stelion does have the high ground. Arancars is right below, trying to fight back with their own guns. Nonetheless, they're not gonna give their disadvantage. They're not gonna make their disadvantage in terms of location determine the outcome of this engagement. So that's Aaron Cars and Stallions are just seeing bullets, but I'm not seeing any knockdowns as of this moment. We're just seeing a lot of bullets flying around, and we see some damage being done to Pacific at least. And looks like Stallions is actually a 3-man team, so already right off the bat, just at the lobby, they have a slight disadvantage. What is happening over here? Iato's playing with their fool. I don't know what happened. He just wants Pacific to jump around. And Iato finally punishing them for that. And so at least we know there's one person down on their side, and Solid's going to be going on from behind. But of course, Stelion already knew they were coming. Alright, ARK Esports gets finished off. Solid's going to be followed up. And that's 2 down on the side of ARK. There's still Liquid nearby, 2 versus 1. But Iato will be going on in with the long range, and Liquid falls down. Sunny who is gonna be taking that knockdown for themselves, and I'm presuming they're gonna be getting that elimination for themselves as well. But last person standing on the side of Arancars, they probably should get out of there. Psyche should get out of there, but Psyche's still trying to fight back. I don't know if there's a vehicle nearby, but 3 versus 1. We all know how this is gonna end. Oh, Psyche's so out in the open, but bullets just in time, couldn't quite get the push of the punishment in. But yep, that shed's not gonna save you, Psyche. It's a 3 for 1. That is the end of Arancars despite the fact that Stelion does have one player in deficit, still they had the locations advantage. They had so many angles up against Arancars, and that maybe the positioning needs a little bit of work from Arancars. They're just out in the open a little too much, knowing that Stelion has a lot of angles against them. But nonetheless, yes, we are down to 13 teams. We got 10 minutes into the game, like almost 10 minutes into the game. We still have 49 players, and other than what we've seen in the camera so far, I don't think there are any other stray engagements that happen concurrently with what we saw a while ago. But nonetheless, yes, 10 minutes into the game. Now let's hunt down for any other sort of engagements. What could be happening right now? All right, I don't know where Fisherman's in trouble again. I can't see where the opponent is coming from. I think from this perspective, it could be coming from the northeastern part. And let me just see if I can recognize the logo. I can't actually see it, but definitely the MTE is being targeted as of this moment. Stelion will be rotating out of the area. They're done here. There's nothing else left to stay here for. There's no reason to stay here. And so they'll be chasing some more highs. They'll be chasing some more eliminations. And right now they did a really good job starting off with 4 eliminations with a full squad wipeout on Arancars. And so it's definitely possible to climb up, maybe even just maybe 20 points or 15 points to be safe. They could possibly qualify for the semifinals. And so that's we're seeing Forsaken and TMT. They're nearby. It looks like TMT had moved into Picado. And La Cabrera, they have Enforcer. They also have JNS OG in the same vicinity. It looks like Nagato will be coming in hot. They'll be scouting out the place. They do have a vehicle in hand, but it's also very, very risky on their part. I'm just judging this off of the mini map as I can see as of this moment. They're just repositioning. Enforcers is taking their stance inside of La Cabrera. They're taking the buildings for themselves. I'm pretty sure OG is more on the vehicles that they have, and I don't know where the rest of OG is. I think they're trying to disengage from this area, that or they're trying to find a really good positioning to have there. Hunter, I don't know why Hunter is all alone in Picado. I almost thought that DMT perhaps they're choosing to settle into Picado, but it looks like it's just Hunter all alone. The rest of DMT is actually here in Los Leon. I believe it's Los Leones. They're actually here in Los Leones trying to hug the borders of the play zone. Perhaps that's their plan. Looks like Silent will be taking this part of the angle. They're gonna be going on to a split push. Unfortunately, their cars will be going down. It's on fire as of this moment, but it's okay. They only need to find another vehicle. In fact, and then maybe they're good to go. But they definitely should not go walking around without any vehicles, especially in Miramar. It's such a big map, and there's so little cover. You need vehicles to help yourself out. Here, GNSOG do have a building. DMT, as I said, they're making their positions, and they're not necessarily going on for engagements right now. I'm not seeing any other teams nearby, so they're just chilling actually. Everyone's chilling. 13 teams. I'm not seeing any damage taken either. Not hearing any bullets. I'm not seeing anything popping up in the kill feed. So we're kind of just chilling, you know. We're just waiting for the next scoop to happen. Fantastic little bit of damage from the fall damage, and that's pretty much all the damage I've seen in the past few minutes. And so with that, everyone's chilling. I think even the viewers should chill. Nice convertible from Senzo. Cool animations. Leons is still alive, 0 eliminations. I don't think they found any engagements yet, but I'm sure Leons heard cars, and they're gonna be chasing those engagements later on for sure. They're just collecting cars as of this moment, and there could be a potential engagement that we're seeing between Leons and DMT. Not engaging yet, but I can see Mad Boy. Looks like Mad Boy does get gunned down by Pinshu. from another angle of the map. OPZ, they're cooking up a grenade. Who are they fighting up against? That's gonna be Akuma. Alright, Unknown gets out of the car, takes a lot of damage from that grenade from Ezio, and Ezio almost gets knocked down, and now they finally get knocked out. Bano, I don't know what this guy is doing. He's just standing out in the open, and Izzy easily gets that knockdown for themselves. That is a punishment if I've seen it. And there's just so many mistakes that I'm seeing in the qualifiers at this moment, especially like a lot of players just standing out in the open and getting gunned down by because they were so unsuspecting on their positioning. They need that awareness of what they look like from other angles. But here, TM7 Reiji, they do find Stelion, and it looks like they'll just be finding another angle in this situation. But OPZ Esports White, creating a grenade. AK, they had a lot of down players, but OPZ couldn't quite finish them off yet. Alright, we got a lot of grenades cooking. Nani is right low on health and finally gets knocked down. Okay, that's two for one knockouts for these two teams. It looks like Unknown finally got finished off by Icy's grenade. That's a 3-4-3 as of this moment. OPZ and Akuma, they're on the same ground. And White is just trying to go around the corners and find a really good angle. Nani still couldn't quite heal up. You can see grenades cooking, getting thrown out. Icy, it looks like Icy got knocked down as well. So that just leaves White and Nani. And Nani has finally healed up. Ash is half health. Grenades coming about. Ash is gonna be a 1v1 sidestep. Oh, White gave away their location. You shouldn't be running like that, bro. But it's a good thing White didn't get gunned down. And Akumo had other priorities as of this moment. Alright, Bono's gonna be throwing in a grenade, and Bono could have gotten finished up, but it looks like OPZ couldn't quite finish the job. But here we have it, Bono finally going down again, and so all that's left is Nanu, and White takes care of that exactly, and that is it. Akuma will be saying goodbye as the 13th team and in this map, and now we're down to 12 teams, 42 players left remaining. We're 17 minutes into the game. It's relatively slow, actually. This game is relatively slow as compared to the rest of the maps that we've witnessed tonight, and so it's okay, but still I'd expect like the teams to go a little bit more aggressive. But here it looks like there's another team that actually lost a couple of players, and so I actually saw two finishers just a while ago from the kill feed, but I'm not quite sure where that is. But here, OPZ, they're just gonna be getting ready to rotate out of the area. It looks like LHC is going up against TM7 from some other part of the map, and we're kind of just waiting it out for that. I know OPZ, they're just gonna be minding their own business. They're gonna be pretty much rotating out of this place. There's nothing left for them here. They're 300-ish, 400 meters away from the play zone. They have to keep moving, especially since there's a possibility that they're probably gonna get gate kept from some of the players that are already within this place. But here, speaking of this place, Lovins finds enforcers. Milan's trying to gun down their players, and it looks like 75 will be going onto the ground, and unfortunately they're two-way out in the open. Gets punished. Aku as well, gonna be going right out to the ground, back into the lobby. Fisherman falls. OPZ, what happened there? They walked right into the fire. What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? We take eyes out of them, and suddenly something bad happens. They lose two players while trying to rotate out of the area. But here, OG, yes, they are nearby, and there's also another team nearby that's actually enforced. They're not nearby anymore because they just got eliminated off, and now we're down to 11 teams. We're shy of a few seconds of 19 minutes into this Miramar map, and we're seeing some more gun downs. It looks like TM7 has Aim God right now. Aim God joins into the fray, gets some kills for themselves. Ayato from Stelion goes down. ARK's Tiger gets gunned down by Zenzo. Let's see if they can finish them off. It looks like Silent will be taking that elimination for themselves. Mazate from ARK Esports, however, as well as Ryan. They're going to be the last two players on ARK Esports. And just taking a peek at how ARK Esports is doing in the leaderboards, they're ranked number 11 as of this moment. Yes, good improvement. They got two eliminations, but they need to work extra hard to work up to rank number 9. But this is the part where there's a clear gap between the teams. GMT and ARK in the previous map, there's a 10-point gap. So it's going to be hard to catch up to that at this moment, especially since DMT has so many eliminations already. So there's like a huge fissure between rank number 10 and everyone else. DMT is just giving that hard cut off for the teams in this group stage. But nonetheless, yes, we were down to 9 teams as we saw a while ago, and 25 players left remaining. A lot of the lower ranked teams have been picked off, and unfortunately, so many of them will not be seeing the semifinals. Forsaken, there's the last person standing, but I'm pretty sure this guy is just going for some placement points. And here, Leons, you can see they're trying to make their hunt as well. And Opex, still a full squad, 2 eliminations. Could be more, but they're playing it really, really safely. There's also a lot of points in just vying for those placement points, and so they have to balance it out with their eliminations. But the blue zone, that stage 5 circle, is gonna be chipping off the health of either Opex and OG as well. So they have to get out of there if they want to keep themselves alive. Looks like Fantastic will be finished off. Pinchu finds the last person in Forsaken, and now we're down to 8 teams. Oh, Lovins is in trouble. Leons finds those kills. Takuru, in fact, gets finished off by Barry. Duin finds Ark's Orion, and Ryan sees the lobby once again, and that is it for ARK Esports. We're seeing 7 teams left. We got 18 players left remaining in this game, and look at that tiny circle in Hacienda de Patron. Stage 6 circle, we still have 18 players left to worry about. Silent is silently waiting, but unfortunately Silent has that predator sort of a situation to fire back at him, and instead it gets gunned down instead. But here, Leons, 3 people left standing. He got 4 eliminations on hand. And so this is actually a good spot, despite the fact that this is an open field. They are within the circle. They have the upper ground, and TM7 and OPZ are distracted with each other. So what Eddie can do right now is get any stray kills and watch them throw grenades at each other, and hopefully they can still steal some kills in this situation. TM7 CEO, however, finds OPX Hunter, finishes them off. CEO, very low on health, crawls into the ground, needs that revive. I presume that needs a revive, but here, Frenzy gets gunned down. CEO pulls up. Anu gets that knockdown for themselves. Eddie and Barry and Anu comfortably staying in this spot, gunning everyone down while keeping a lot of their health intact. This is insane sort of positioning coming in from Leons. But here, TM7, they're getting pushed back by that blue zone, and they're staying within the smokes, but this is not sustainable. This is stage 6. The damage taken from that blue zone is no joke, and that's exactly what's happening. The play zone takes down Reiji first. Manok gets Manko rather gets that vehicle elimination done to themselves. Aim God gets taken down. Reiji gets taken by the play zone. Anu guns lots of players from a distance. There's a lot of bullets flying, but the question is, will we get the connections that they need? GMT silently hiding in this tiny space. Leons, they probably know there's someone there, but Leons has such a good spot. They have such a good position that they cannot risk giving it away. And the question is, will they have to move? They have to move, actually. That's not even a question. They have to move sooner or later. The stage 7 circle does not favor them. Stage 8 circle, even worse. And so Ano will be first to go down. Mythic actually snipes them down from a distance. Now it's Eddie and Barry that's going to be left. Ano, yes, gets finished off immediately after that. Mythic finishes the job. Now we're down to 4 teams. And surprisingly, most of them are duos, and TM7 has the last person standing. So I'm saying this like genuinely, this is anyone's game. This is this could still be anyone's game. Depends as to how people will play their cards right. It looks like Leons will finally take the risk and go out of their comfort zone, go out of that blue zone and into the fire. Eddie goes down first. Barry's still alive and they could still maybe save Eddie, but I don't think it's gonna be happening, especially with how chaotic this map looks right now. Odin gets knocked down. Silent follows up as well. Mythic is on a roll. Knockout after knockout after knockout. All of these teams, they're single players right now, but look at it, LHC. There's still a chance they could revive. Leon's do exactly the same. And so this little ceasefire has everyone reviving their partners, and now it's a 2 versus 2 again. And Leon's and DMT, they're in years to each other, and LHC, they have all time in the world to kind of throw their grenades. I'm sure they have a lot of resources. And Silent goes down into the ground. Barry's coming in, trying to finish the job, but unfortunately, we're seeing our first casualty. It's gonna be Leon's and NRS LHC. That's gonna be left. Leon, last person standing, 2 versus 1. Eddie gets hit by the grenade, and now it's just gonna be Mythic versus Barry from Leon's alongside Odin and their teammate, and Barry's hiding in this building, but in a couple of seconds stage 9 circle is gonna close in. Odin's hiding behind the crate, Barry is hiding in the building, but I think Barry will be the first to be taken by that play zone if ever it happens. And you can see LHC's desperately trying to take this point for themselves. They don't want to give this point to the play zone, but Barry is thinking something else. They're trying to deny that point, but unfortunately Mythic takes the point anyway. LHC get that winner chicken dinner. Congratulations to LHC for a job well done. They had such a good start into the game. They kept that momentum going, and now they have that winner chicken dinner. Now I'm really excited to see what the stats look like, especially for Mythic. Mythic was on an absolute roll for their team. It's just absolutely crazy how LHC has done. They were really quiet in the first few maps, and all of a sudden they started shining. And now I'm really excited to see what this looks like when it's going to be taken into the leaderboards later on. But nonetheless, yes, this is it for our team stats. Odin does have 3 eliminations, and Mythic, I thought I could have seen like more eliminations. I guess it was just the knockouts, but yes, 3 eliminations for Mythic as well. But the damage, though, 788 damage, is considerable, and that lines up with the fact that I saw so many knockouts. In fact, 5 knockouts. That's probably what I saw on the kill feed time and time again. Mythic is just absolutely insane, but couldn't quite finish the job just in time. But nonetheless, congratulations once again to LHC for a job well done, especially with Odin and Mythic for getting the 3 eliminations each. That makes 6 eliminations and 10 placement points from the winner in the chicken dinner. That adds up to 16 points. The question is, will LHC qualify for the semifinals with this much points, especially from the last map? That just depends on how they did for the rest of the maps. But speaking for the rest of the teams, this is how they're going to be doing. LNN Leons will have 15 total points, just one shy of our chicken dinner winners. Team 7 coming in third with 12, DM2 with 11, Lovins with 8, Esports with OPZ Esports with 7, OPEX with 6, Forsaken has 5, Stelion has 4, ARK Esports has 3, Jiren has OG, Lovins Akuma, and 187 Valkyrie each have 1. Unfortunately, there are 4 teams with 0 points. That's going to be Enforced Esports, Arancars, GameOver Yakuza, and NONX Esports each have 0 points for this particular map. In fact, the last map for tonight for this Group B qualifiers, our MVP will be Leon's Barry with the 5 eliminations, damage of 684, and 1 assist and 2 headshots. Now, again, Mythic has more damage, but Leon's Barry finished the job more, and so that weighs just a little bit more in terms of MVP calculations. But here is the overall rankings. We got our top 3. We got LHC up top with 54 total points. That last map really did the job. And number 2, Opex has 52 points, tying with Leon's at rank number 3 with 52 points, these three teams will be moving straight into the grand finals. But rank number 4 to rank number 9 will be going on to the semifinals alongside the rest of the rank 4 to rank 9 for the other group stages. And so, with that, congratulations to your favorite teams for qualifying. And unfortunately, for page number 2, they have to find another opportunity, and maybe in the next tournaments we'll be seeing them again. But here is our MVP. It's gonna be Pinchu with the 15 eliminations, with its almost 3k damage dealt, 1.7k damage taken, 4 assists, 2 headshots. And that is it for TM7's Pinchu. This is today's matches. We got the winner chicken dinner in Force Esports for a Rondo map, OPEX for first Wrangle, and Force Esports for our first Miramar, and the back-to-back chicken dinner from LHC for our last two maps. That is absolutely insane. On the side of LHC, I think LHC is one of the teams that we should be watching out for, and I'm really excited to see how this will play out, especially up against Skyforce that did so well in the Group A stage. And so that is going to be it for our Group B qualifier stage. Tomorrow we'll be seeing our Group C stage. And of course, once again, guys, do follow Ooredoo Nation on Instagram and our socials in order to get all the updates for this Esports Contender Series. And of course, we have other games as well, MLBB, FIFA. Do tune in to those as well. And for tonight, we will be saying goodbye. And this is it for the Group B qualifier stage for day number 2 of our Esports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow around the same time for Group C. Goodbye.